Hello, everyone. Welcome to our game development update for July. Ooh, it has been a crazy month for us. How are you two doing?
Doing good.
I'm doing very well. It's beautiful weather here in San Diego, even though we're not allowed to go outside. But no.
We can go outside. We
We
can't
can
be
go
inside.
outside.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Just like not too around other people.
I'm going to the beach.
Are you going to the beach?
No, we went last weekend though. It was nice.
Oh, it's cool.
Jeff's got some weird thing going on. Your camera's like doing some weird thing. I don't know what's happening, man.
It's
My
not me.
camera?
It's
It's
the
like the
aliens.
ghost in the machine.
Hang on, checking my connections.
But my heart is racing because we have lots of new people in our community. So first and foremost, I just want to say a huge welcome to all of you who are joining us. If this is your first time watching a game development update, I'm going to kind of walk through what we'll be covering and some quick updates, and then we'll get into it. We roughly do these about an hour, but sometimes they go over because we really like talking to you all. And normally we do like a Q&A segment, but because we just did an AMA recently, and you could check that out on our YouTube channel over at youtube.com/assetofcreation, we aren't going to do a Q&A segment, but we will be pulling questions from the channel throughout.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the first things first, let's introduce ourselves so people know who we are and what we do on the project for all the new folks. Obviously, I'll start with Steven, so go for it, Steven.
My name is Steven Sharif. I'm the creative director as well as the founder of Intrepid Studios.
Yeah, and I'm sure all of you have seen a lot of Steven around lately. He's been chatting with a lot of folks and answering a lot of questions. So thank you, Steven. And I've also seen you popping in on the social media. It's cute. Sometimes I'm like going to reply to
everywhere these
somebody, and then I see that Steven has already replied, and I giggle because some of the stuff you say is really funny.
I apologize for some of my tweets from the official Ashes of Creation Twitter account. Sometimes they can get a little memey, but I have a lot of fun interacting with people, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the interviews over the past couple of weeks with Summit, with Shroud, with Asmongold, with Tim the Tapman. It was a lot of fun to just chat with fellow gamers and MMO players who share, I think, a similar passion for the genre, and it's been great to see their community's reactions, and it's awesome to welcome you guys. If this is the first time you're tuning into our development update, we've been doing monthly development updates, ever since the end of Kickstarter, every month for the past, over 3 years now, because we really do believe in the transparent, development process and how beneficial that can be. And I know you guys have heard me talk about this in the past, but how beneficial that can be engaging the community early on. Sometimes if you build a game up and you don't show anything of that game until 3 months out from launch, it's very difficult to go back and fix things, and that can cause a lot of issues. So I, as a gamer, am a firm believer, and now as a developer, in that transparent process, and we really enjoy that you guys are now tuning in and helping us get that feedback.
First and
Yeah, I don't think
foremost,
we've
do not
missed one, have we?
apologize. Do not apologize for being Mimi, because I think that's awesome. That is our culture. I think it's okay. But I do think, on that front, it is very interesting and different to be showcasing development. So we do want to set the expectation that a lot of these things that you're seeing are in development. So yes, of course, animations are going to change. Of course, art's going to be updated. Of course, systems are going to be more robust. This is the first phases of them. So keep that in mind as you're watching things and as you're learning about things. And we try our best to explain that. But if you see it from a third party, it might not always give that same impression.
Yeah, one of the favorite things I have actually about a transparent development, and now having 3 years under the belt in this production of Ashes of Creation, it's always fun to go back to like the first gameplay footage that, when it was just like me, Jeff, and a handful of other people in the studios, and take a look at, where the game has come from at that time. And in 3 short years, where it's at today, keeping that kind of that storyboard timeline in place really gives you perspective on just how things with iteration become better and better and better. And knowing that, even though you're seeing pre-alpha gameplay like today on the stream, or you saw our 4K footage that we released last month, like, it still gets much better from there. That is without polish, without optimization. You're getting an inside look at what it means to build this massive project. And really, we are one of the most ambitious MMORPGs I think really ever attempted, not because we're trying to reinvent the wheel, but because we're bringing in a culmination of these systems and designs we've seen in other games as inspiration on how to make a truly PVX sand park experience. And I think that's something really fun to watch.
And of course, Jeff, if you want to introduce yourself.
We should republish that first combat video.
No.
Yeah. Then people can see exactly how far we've come.
When we launch, I'll agree with that. But until then, let's keep that under.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Because there's some percentage of an audience that's first-time lookers and they don't understand what we're saying right now on stream. They're not one of the 12,000 people who are tuned in currently, so they don't have context. And when they see that first video, they're gonna be like, "Oh,
they'll think it's amazing.
This is trash. This is dog, shit or whatever." So we got to be cognizant of that.
And of course, Jeff, if you want to talk a little bit about what you do on our team and all of that jazz, because we haven't gotten to you yet.
I am Jeffrey Ballard. I am the lead game designer for Ashes of Creation. I've been with the studio for 5 years now. It's been a while. So we like making fun games, and we're really excited to share that all with you.
Yay.
Awesome. So quickly, I'm just going to go through what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be doing a studio update as per usual. Steven usually handles that. We'll be doing a design update. We also have some gameplay footage for you all, because I know you always ask. We will be talking about kind of harvesting and gatherable stuff. So if that interests you in crafting and things of that sort, definitely stay tuned for that. On the environment side, we'll be doing an environment update with a lot of goodies from there, as well as a character update with some information from that front. Now, to get through the quick updates, just because I want to get through those really quickly, I'll try to go fast. I will switch over to another scene quick.
Oh, and by the way, for those of you guys first time tuning in, these development updates aren't always really grounded in gameplay footage. You're going to see some gameplay footage, but really this is kind of about, I guess, showing the process of what it takes to build a game. So you're going to see a lot of art-related stuff. You're going to see models of characters and creatures and mounts, and you're going to see, effects and design discussions, and, pretty much really this is focused on what it means to develop a game, and less around marketing or hyping, so to speak, the gameplay footage, as you may have experienced with other games. So just keep that in mind. The context of our monthly development updates are really focused on the production of the game.
Yeah. Sorry, I think you peaked whenever you got excited there.
Oh, did I? Was I loud?
So the first thing that I wanted to showcase was that we do have new emotes on our Discord, so definitely go check those out. We have more coming along the way as we lead up to alpha, so definitely check them out. Jeff really likes them. As he was watching Mike make these, Mike's our graphics guy. Thanks,
They're like
Mike.
my favorite thing in the entire world.
Yeah, he walked by, he's like, "What is that? So cute." But yeah, this is Nick and Fee, or Fee and Nick. Phoenix, get it? Huh? They're amazing. We kind of have like these little characters. We have like a whole personalities for them. Nick is like the older brother. Fee's like the little sister who's always getting into trouble, and Nick's always cleaning it up. So we have a lot of fun with it. There's more emotes coming along. We're going to try to get Twitch emotes. We know everyone keeps asking. Next, we have our packs. People have been asking me to let you guys know whenever those are going to be swapping over. These will be swapping over on August 5th, 2020 at 11 a.m. This is 11 a.m. Pacific, I should say. These are also noted in our news articles as we announce new sets, so you already know the dates whenever they're swapping over way in advance. So just keep that in mind, because some folks didn't realize that was the case. We do have...
And by the way, just a quick note on the pack stuff. I know we've been getting a lot of people asking how they can, purchase an Alpha 1 access. About 2 years ago, I suspended the sales of Alpha 1 packages, and that was primarily because we had already reached kind of the peak testing group that we wanted to have for Alpha 1 before we allowed additional people to come in. That may change in the future. It depends on how the testing will go. It would not change until after the initial stress testing and getting everything solidified on our end, where we feel comfortable that we can go above that 10,000 person limit that we restricted those pack sales to. So if that is something you're interested in, right now it's not available. You can always upgrade any package that you may own. But otherwise, if you don't want to buy a pack, it's perfectly fine. Just sit back. It's going to be not under NDA, so you can watch other people playing on stream. You can get people's kind of idea of the game and its current status, and understand what we've implemented from a core feature standpoint as well. Yeah,
and we do have our bonus dev discussion up. This one is a little bit different because basically it came from the AMA with Steven. So we've decided to put out a multi-boxing conversation because it was kind of like a heated back and forth conversation. So we were like, you know what, let's kind of see what the community sentiment is overall. And then the dev team is going to take that report and kind of discuss it internally. And maybe we'll change our mind. Maybe we'll keep it the way that we currently have standing on it. But you can go check that out over on our forums, forums.ashesofcreation.com. And we also will have another new dev discussion coming up in August, as per usual. So stay tuned for that as well. We won't take one away. We're just giving you an extra one, because Jeff has a long list of questions for us to get through. So we're definitely trying to get through those.
Like a year's worth.
Yeah. And the last update that I have for you all is, and I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. I'm nervous. There's so many people here. Someone's like, "Girl, slow down." All right. I'm gonna switch over to another scene. We have this lovely statue that is still available. Our creative director's letter came out this month, so if you haven't checked that out, definitely go check it out. We did announce that our Leader of Men and PI testing will be coming up here shortly and probably around mid-August, so stay tuned for that. We are currently trying to get everyone's NDAs signed, so if you didn't see an email come in, definitely check your spam and junk mailbox because we have sent those out. We're going to send out another reminder today for new folks who have upgraded. So if you get that email, please check it over the weekend, get us your information, and our CS team will start back up on Monday sending out those and getting you flagged so that you have all the information as we publish that to you all.
Yeah, and just to be clear, anybody who registers between now and when is it, Margaret? September?
Yes, I was just going to say that. So this will be for anybody who has registered from April 7th, 2020 to September 7th, 2020. And we'll do, 12 a.m. or 11:59 a.m. or p.m. PDT, that type of thing.
And there's no purchase behind this. All it is an account registration, so you can participate in the forums and get involved in discussions. Anybody who registers on the site gets this as a home decor item. It's going to be a pretty cool little item that signifies the struggles that we as humanity have gone through now with COVID and are continuing to go through. It'll have a little bit of some effects as the portal there and will be placeable in your home on a table or a mantle, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm so excited. So that is it for our quick updates. So let's get right into our studio update. If you want to take it away, Stephen.
Absolutely. So, as many of you have probably seen, sorry, my dogs are walking up. As any of you guys have probably, I can't, the little thing, the camera's on like this tripod thing.
The little thing.
Now, anybody who's been following, our socials may have noticed that we have now begun our next round of hiring. We have listed 24 positions that are available at the studio. I was a little bit hesitant early on with this COVID crisis to initiate that next round, but honestly, we waited as long as we could. It's not, looking good from a coming back to the office standpoint with the working from home condition, but the team has been really amazing in maintaining productivity. As a matter of fact, being actually more efficient and working from home, as we've noticed. But the onboarding process while in a work from home state is obviously difficult, but we had to bite the bullet and begin that next phase of hiring. So I believe we've now secured about 7 of those 24 positions. So one thing that's really helpful, by the way, guys, if you like the ideas that we're talking about, if you like the philosophies that we have within the project, if you have favorite developers out there that you like, I'm all for you helping us share those posts for our hiring phases, tagging your favorite developers and saying, hey, have you heard of Ashes? Yeah, I am unabashed in that sense. So, don't worry about doing that.
This is a very cool project, and it's something that, I don't think too many developers will get a chance to work on where we're at right now and kind of the amount of contribution that you can make to the project. For a project that is this big, you get to work on a lot of really cool, interesting problems and kind of be on the bleeding edge of MMOs. So don't be afraid to share that. But otherwise, regarding studio update, I know previously I had hoped that we would have been into our new studio in August/September timeframe. Unfortunately, the way it looks like COVID is going, and especially in our great state of California, it doesn't look like that time frame is going to be possible. So it looks like I may need to push back us entering back into the studio, the new studio,
till sometime after the new year, because with the rollout of our initial Alpha 1 testing being sometime around the end of fall, the end of this year, it would just be too hectic to come up upon that timeline and at the same time trying to service a live test client. That would be problematic in my opinion. So that's a little update on the move process. Update on the hiring process. From a development standpoint, as you guys know, you have seen me likely doing some interviews and whatnot. The desire, let me just be clear, the desire there is not to drum up hype for the game. I know that hype can lead to the dark side for many projects, and we don't want to be on that front. What we want to do, however, is be open and transparent and give people the opportunity to discuss their feelings and their thoughts on our design ideas, to watch our testing periods, to give feedback in that regard. There is still a long road ahead of us. We are a very dedicated, passionate, and productive team. We have a lot of veteran MMORPG developers from many other favorite franchises that you guys have played. We just want to keep that open, transparent development process going forward. And that's really the reason for getting fresh eyes on the project. It's always beneficial, to take into account the feedback that, community members who have been with the project for a long time have, but it's also great, fresh, and constructive, I think, to receive new, fresh feedback from fresh eyes who may not be as close to the project as our existing community. And that doesn't mean we don't love I love our existing community 100%, but it's great to diversify the feedback. I think that's something that's very beneficial as well. So you've seen me doing some of these interviews. That really is intended to get fresh eyes on the project, get that fresh feedback. But otherwise, that's, I think, the general update for the studio.
Ooh. Yeah, we've got a lot going on. And as Steven said, we're pumping through everything, even with working from home. Obviously, we're still doing our game updates from home, so you see us in our house. I'm kind of sad, Jeff. We don't get to see, because we don't get to see the princess castle behind you anymore.
Oh, yeah, she hasn't been playing with it too much lately, and it was taking up a lot of space in the living room, and it was kind of, had to spread our wings a little bit. But it'll probably come back, maybe towards the winter when she gets more interested in it again. We'll see.
We got to get you like a little princess crown so you can so moving on over to Jeff, speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about the design team and what you all have been working on. And we do have a lot of footage, so we have some cool particle effects updates that we're going to showcase, as well as a 17-minute long video, so we're going to show that off as well, and then we'll come back and we'll chat. So let's
it's been we hit our big milestone kind of back in May. And so the time that we spend after that is sort of catching up on other things, right? So we learned a lot of stuff from that test. And so when it comes to kind of figuring out where we want to go and what tools we need next in coming up to these next milestones that we're going to tackle. So a big thing we need are tools that allow us to scale towards the sort of massive game that we're trying to build right now. So the design team is kind of sitting down, defining all of those tools, kind of figuring out what we need to do to move forward and, do things like populate a huge, gigantic world. How do we do that quickly? How do we do that efficiently? And how do we do that interestingly? So we sit down, we write a bunch of definitions for engineering, and then they start building tools for us. And we're kind of getting towards the end of that process right now.
Right. And really what Jeff is talking about, there's obviously, as you begin to stand up different phases of a project moving into the first alpha, you have these rudimentary tools that help facilitate that process on the design front. But as you begin to work your way through implementation of certain core features or content, you start to better define what those tools will require because you've gone through that first process initially. So as we go back and we iterate, essentially, talking with engineering about, what additional features this tool requires, how we want this to interact with the content we're attempting to implement, that gets further refined until when we have a full pipeline in place with those tools, it really expedites the process and accelerates the ability for the designers to implement things into the world.
Do you want to give an example of a tool to kind of help people who maybe don't understand the logistics of how that works?
Yeah, for sure. Like, so we populate our world with spawners, basically, and the spawners talk to the nodes, and they kind of know what the state of the world is, right? There's a lot of data on any given spawner, but the process of actually placing those spawners in the world and setting that data can take a long time. So we have a huge world, and we need to put a lot of monsters in the world, and we need to have a lot of different states being covered by what the nodes can be, right? So what we discovered is we need sort of a world manager, something that can talk to all of these nodes, and we can tell that world manager how to handle those spawners rather than us individually setting up each and every single one. So that's kind of where we're going on the population side, something that can help us do things at scale across the entire world. Because if you keep in mind, right, a node can have any number of states, right? It could be level 3 and an elf node, or it could be level 6 and it could be a human node. And our world is populated differently based on those states. So if you could imagine, we would be populating the world almost like, I don't know what that ends up being math-wise, but like 50 different times. And so we need something to help us out that way, and that's the kind of tool that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So I have some cool particle effects. I'm going to be swapping some cameras over, so it's going to take a moment before our cameras are all in the right spot. So bear with us. Oops, wrong one.
No such thing.
I see there's a lot of people in chat talking about a Frognar race. I guess that'd be kind of like a heavily frog-influenced Tolnar species.
That's what it sounds
I don't know if that falls into the reptilian category, the frog attributes, or more of a. Oh, are we showing that video?
Yeah, it accidentally went up. Sorry, I hit the wrong thing. Because I originally had it in a different order, but you wanted to switch it, so I forgot to move it on the screen. So the first thing that you're seeing here is actually our blink ability, and we're also going to show the blink impact. We've been doing a lot of particle effect changes, and I'll let Jeff kind of talk about the design behind that.
Yeah, so I don't know, people who may be familiar with Unreal know that Unreal moved a little while ago from Cascade as a particle system solution to Niagara. And Niagara is a really cool, really smart way of building particles. So we've been kind of transitioning that. Our effects guy, Jim Sanders, who is just amazing at what he does, has been playing with it and trying to integrate it into our pipelines. And we're pretty much set to go there. So all of our new effects will be authored in Niagara. We're also combining that with Houdini. So we're doing some cool stuff there too to get some really neat effects.
And oh, sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
No, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, just to give people context for this particular skill you're seeing effects for, this is one of the Mage's kind of fundamental mobility skills, their teleport option. And just so you guys are aware, the way kind of we work with skills is you have skill points that you can allocate into active skills based off of your base archetype, right? And as you allocate skill points into those skills, you can give additional skill points to unlock, additional features for that skill per se. So the initial active skill of teleport may only teleport you forward. But what you're seeing, I think from this perspective, it looks like he's teleporting backwards. That would be an additional feature that would be unlocked by allocating more skill points, which makes the teleport omnidirectional. So as you're essentially looking within as you're essentially keystroking in a particular direction and you activate the skill, your teleport ability will teleport you, maintaining your direction in that area.
And
also, if you're wondering about the background here,
I was just going to say.
This is one of we call this our zoo level, and it's basically got all of the mobs populated here in sections according to level, so that we can jump in really easily and kind of tune things.
Yeah, it's kind of like their dev build area, so they can just do testing and stuff like that. Because people are like, bird person, what's that? And of course, he's clicking on the ability because he's kind of showing you like the, what do you call it?
The tooltip.
The tooltip. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So I'll show the impact of blink as well next. So this is upon.
This is like a closer up view of it, so that's kind of the thing that's playing off of your mesh when you do that. Obviously, this is not a real character, it's just a fake character. And when Jim's setting up his ability, he usually uses these pawns so that it's a really quick iterative process. You don't want to necessarily worry about all the functionality and making it work with a pawn at first when you're first setting up those particle effects. So yeah.
Yeah, and the great thing about Unreal Engine, especially with their newest update to Niagara, is really the front end, the graphical fidelity that Unreal Engine offers is so beautiful. And it's great when you have a very capable and talented artist like Jim who can really take advantage of those of those systems and just pump out really great looking art. So kudos, Jim.
All right, and then switching over to Gift of Magi.
Yeah, so the Gift of Magi, absolutely. This is a skill, I believe, that the mage archetype has, which allows the mage essentially to grant a portion of their mana to a friendly character. So you're seeing, here this updated effects for that skill.
And one of the here is sort of the dynamic lighting that is happening on that effect. So that's kind of what he's trying to show off here, and then some of the volumetric fog.
Yeah.
But the way that it lights up kind of the whole area and is not just baked into it.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say one of the directions that I've given Jim with regards to kind of the style of these effects is I'm a huge fan of volumetric fog elements incorporated into special effects for the characters and certain skills, and I really love the way that Jim implemented this. This fog appearance as well as that lighting just to illuminate even further the depth of that gaseous element around I think it's a really cool component of magic and arcane art from an immersion standpoint.
Yeah, he's working on a lot of cool like fog and things of that sort. That is really neat. The question that I had that was from chat was actually in regards to graphics and like different settings and what those particle effects will look like. I don't know if you all want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, as we enter into phases of optimization and as we're developing these types of effects, we're taking into consideration that, players will have a scalability setting that they can tune, which is appropriate for their rig or hardware that they're running, that kind of lessens the load on the client in order to render these types of effects or, these numbers of polys on the character or, essentially just having scalability options. So one of those in relation to the effects is, players can scale that down so it's not as intensive on their rig.
All right. I'm going to switch over to the Prismatic Beam next.
Oh, yeah. Jeff, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so this is Prismatic Beam. This is one of those channeled skills, so it does more damage the longer you hold it down. It kind of roots you into place, but is a really high damage, high risk, high reward kind of ability. The effect here is really neat. Beams are not super easy to do, but the kind of flowy, watery almost feel of this ability, I think Jim captured really well. It feels like a nice, awesome, powerful laser. I guess even better when you see some of the animations that are behind that. You really get a sense of like, oh, this is a very powerful thing. That's kind of, we always feel and flow is really important to us always, and this really captures kind of that, like, you are channeling some serious magic here. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But did you have something
You want to talk a little bit maybe about the difference between the tab targeting skills that we saw just previously and how this one works from a line effect standpoint?
Yeah, so we kind of split the difference between the different kinds of abilities that we have. We want to give people a lot of different opportunities to play the game the way they want to. So we have some abilities that are tab targets, some abilities that are dynamic, and then some abilities that are like purely action based. This is kind of falls into that latter category where this beam is going to go wherever you are pointing your camera. So you need to be on target. Otherwise, you could miss. It's not really related to the accuracy of your character's stats. It's more the accuracy of your mouse. So we want to make sure that you get opportunities to kind of, play that risk-reward game based on how you want to play the game.
Right. And is this effect an area of effect, or does it stop impact and deals damage to that initial target and doesn't go past it?
Right now, I think it does both. As you scale it up, I think the first stage of it stops at whoever you target, and then the final stage passes through and hits everything in the cone.
Nice. So that's more about that, injecting additional skill points into individual skills to unlock additional features for it. So the initial one would stop on a collision impact, and then later stage would go through. That's cool.
Correct.
Yeah. And obviously, with a lot of testing, we may change and alter abilities. So keep that in mind
for
as
sure,
we're moving forward, for sure.
Yeah, this is like the first iteration of this ability for the mage, so it's going to go through a lot of different changes.
Yeah. So if we're ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is going to be the level
We're definitely going to go over time, by the way.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go over time.
Oh my god, we're already a half hour in.
I know.
And we don't even have the Q&A this time. We're still going to go over.
It's a good thing we did an hour and a half AMA.
Yeah, true. So our next one is our level up effect. Now, this is kind of a really important thing with, games, because I think they can be really iconic and memorable. So do note that this is still in stages, so keep that in mind.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so I mean, one of the cool abilities that we all love seeing, and it gives us a major dopamine response, is when our character levels up, especially when you're higher level. This is the first iteration on the level up effects. One of the things I loved, about when I leveled in Lineage 2 was it had this like God ray comes down over your character and expands, and little leaves, like little golden light leaves, fall out of the sky, and it's this cool event. So we wanted to try to hit that a little bit. There's going to be further iterations, but this is the first pass, and I really like the direction Jim's going.
Yeah, I just
one
wanted
thing
to
Jim
set
does really
expectations.
good is like the radiance effect. Like he uses colors in really interesting ways. And I love what he's able to bring out in some of these effects. They're not just simple unicolor kind of things. There's the full spectrum of the rainbow in this effect.
Yeah.
All right.
We did talk about using Phoenix Wings for this, so.
Phoenix Wings
I think we
would be
had
really
that
cool.
in super long ago, actually. I think at one of the PAX events.
Like little wings on the back of you.
Yeah.
Whenever that'd be cool. But yeah, we still are obviously going through that. There will be sound effects and things of that sort as well that will be hopefully iconic to you all. That is our goal. So when you level up, you're like, yeah, that's awesome. So without further ado, I kind of want to preface things before we move into the next thing, which is going to be our 17-minute long video. We want to talk a little bit about gathering and harvesting, and obviously we'll talk a little bit about it after, and I'll grab some questions from chat, so definitely toss your questions in. We'll also have Ashes of Creation responding to some of the ones that we've already answered before. So I guess, Stephen, if you want to kind of preface this before we switch over?
just to contextualize the video, when did we record this? Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
God, the days are just they're all blurring together. Okay. Contextualizing this is basically, we wanted to show off two things. One, the very early stages of gathering, and really the way it works, and we're going to go into a little bit more depth afterwards. The gathering is one branch of the artisanship tree. There's three primary branches: gathering, processing, and crafting. And those are meant to have interdependencies within one another. But essentially what we show today is there's tool prerequisites when it comes to accessing certain resources in the world as a gatherable. Gatherers will have the abilities to create their tools, but those tools will have only a certain number of usage before you need to recreate that tool. And essentially, as you become more proficient within the gathering branch of the artisanship tree and your tool making becomes better, you begin to increase the amount of usages that are available. And then those, the usages that are under the tool prerequisite will eventually come to the point where you'll have these master tool sets that'll grant you access to the highest possible gatherables in the world. And one other thing to note about gatherables is there's both a combination of, there's three types of gatherables. There's the ones that a lot of us are used to, which is the single-use resource out in the world. You gather it, it goes away for a period of time, and then it comes back later or randomly spawns elsewhere in the region. The second is going to be these large static veins that exist, which will attract lots of people, and they'll have a finite number of gathering that's possible until that vein is depleted, and then it will will go out and respawn somewhere else in the world. And then the last type of gatherable is a mobile group gatherable kind of thing. So these are like herds of animals that might be out there in the world, and they may move a little bit. So it's like a moving resource, so to speak. Maybe exists on a spline and just kind of goes around the world. You're only going to see in this video the very basic type of gathering mechanic, which is that first type that you can gather. And then additionally, we did receive a lot of questions about the size of the world. And, you know, one thing that I personally love about an MMO is having this grand, magnificent type of architecture that exists. So we ran you through one of the dungeons, but I did it with Margaret and Sarah. By the way, this is Margaret, Sarah, myself doing this little video. I did it at flying above the dungeon so that you can just get an understanding of the scope. I know you had seen likely this dungeon in previous 4K video, but it was on foot. So I really wanted to show off, you know, being up in the air and just kind of seeing this grand size dungeon. And this is an early dungeon too. It's a level 10 dungeon.
Yeah, and we have shown this dungeon before, I believe. So you might have seen footage of some of it before, but are you ready to pass it over to the video?
We're ready.
All right.
Let's go.
We'll see y'all in 17 minutes.
All right, now everybody, now slide to the left. Slide to the right.
Oh, we're
Take it back now, y'all.
we're recording, by the way.
What? Oh. Whoops.
Yeah, no, that was good though. I like that.
Should we re-record?
So no, we're good. Hey guys, we're here live. Well, actually, we're not live. This is pre-recorded,
We're
but
live right now.
we're live,
Oh,
right? Yeah,
We're live. We're doing it all in one flow, I guess is the worst though.
yeah, that's
No
true. This is one flow. We're just gonna right now. You're on stream with us, and we wanted to pre-record this, kind of show off some of the gathering, and maybe, I don't know, take a look a little bit around the world. Those of you guys who are tuning in for the first time, this is our pre-alpha client. This is essentially the alpha 1 client that's getting tested, and the bugs are getting worked out and whatnot. So yeah, we should maybe go gather some things. Did you guys get tools and whatnot?
Yeah, I got some tools.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna walk. You guys can set your walk mode to by pressing period if you want. And there we go. Oh wait. Oh no.
I don't think I can do it on my
Oh
horse.
yeah.
On
you
the
can't.
horse, it's not.
Sad.
Sad.
That's okay. We can run around.
The horse is really awesome though. We were
Oh,
having a
yeah,
lot of
for
fun.
sure.
Justin and I were like doing little dance moves.
I like it. But let's look for some some trees. Are there any trees around here? Do you guys see any trees that we can chop
I
down?
think there's one down over here.
So to give you guys an idea, out in the world, you're going to have raw resources. Oh, here we go. You're gonna have raw resources that essentially you can, if you have the tools available for
Wanna go
the.
for a toast?
Oh yeah, here I'll grab it. Let me see. There we go. Essentially, you have the tools for these raw resources out in the world. You're going to
Bonk.
get. I think you just
Good
died.
thing you're short. You like fit right underneath it.
Yeah, I just was safely underneath the log.
You're going to essentially be able to harvest different raw resources out in the world based off of the tools that you have available to you. And higher quality resources are going to require higher quality tools as well. It's also important to note that many of the raw gatherables out in the world have an opportunity to essentially to grant you rare resources that you can proc based off of the skill level you have within the gathering tree. And that's always nice to have. I think I remember playing a little bit of Star Wars Galaxies, and I really loved how they did their crafting system. I thought it was very well done. So let's kill this dude.
There's a kitty on me.
Oh no.
Oh no, protect the dwarf.
There you go. We protected you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, there's like a brawler over here. Maybe I should can like pull him. Where's my little pull skill? Don't I have a pull skill?
Yeah, you should.
I don't see it. No. Is it javelin? No.
I always move them around my hotkeys, so I don't actually know where it is.
Oh,
Like
it
by
is
default.
Hook shot.
I don't like the order.
Well, that guy got wrecked.
Yeah, he's looking a
Yeah.
little worse for wear.
Shouldn't be trying to steal stuff from people.
No.
He looks like he's permanently fist pumping in death.
And try to get this tree. There we go. There's like a dude standing right in front of it though. Oh, there's two of them.
Okay,
Oh no, there's three of them. Here, the tree will kill them. Oh, darn it.
Toast blinding us with her
Nice.
beam.
I know, right?
Do note that like the particle effects are still in the works.
Oh yeah, everything. Yeah,
Are you blinded by my holy light?
yeah. Just so you guys
You're
know,
too divine for us.
art is always going through different iterations and different passes. I personally think it looks great for pre-alpha, but it'll definitely get some love. These are kind of trash mobs. I think we're all level 10, so we're much higher than them. Oh, we're in a party. Yay.
We're not in a party. I figured we should all be friends.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
So I can see your health and heal you.
Let's see if we can find any more. Or you know what? Actually, there's like a little dungeon here, isn't there? Where's the dungeon? Oh, if we want to,
I think we've shown this one before.
have we shown this one? Well, let's go through again and just kind of show off the size of the dungeon. Let's fly this time because I think
Oh, okay, cool.
previously
Alright.
we kind of ran through
Look
it.
at this pretty bear. I don't want to kill this bear though.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks too cool.
No, let's not kill it. I don't. It seems like he's just having a nice time. Oh wait. My bad.
Oh no.
He
I'm a
could kill
conscientious
people.
objector to this. I'm just gonna sit here and
Just
watch.
watch.
Oh, there's a lot of herbs and stuff over here. So
Yeah,
in
Oh yeah, let's pick them.
as you go out and gather, right, there's going to be obviously various tiers of gatherables that are out in the world. And, you're going to have the more common ones that are acting as kind of base gatherables, base resources that kind of support a tiered structure as you process things upwards. And then you're going to have more rare ones. And these are all kind of like one-off gatherables that you're kind of seeing here, but there are large vein resources essentially, which have multiple applications of the gathering process. So like you may have a large mine of a iron ore, and it can attract a lot of people over time to come and deplete it first, and then once it gets depleted, it'll spawn elsewhere. I think this is a like dungeon area.
As far as the tools go, will people be able to like customize their tools and have like cool different looking ones?
Yeah, so tools are going to exist in a similar fashion to the tiered resources that it's applicable towards. You can't really customize a particular tool, to look different. However, based off of the quality of your tool making, you're going to be able to have more uses out of these tools. Now, tools will have to be continually replaced as you are using the tools to gather resources. You'll have to replace them, obviously. All right, yeah, let's we definitely can't kill the content in there, but let's fly through, maybe.
This one's not a flying mount.
Really?
Oh yeah, I don't think it is.
It is not.
The one that's in our inventories.
That's weird.
I thought it was though.
Are you guys GMs?
Yep.
I think so. Yeah, because we
Yep.
leveled up and stuff.
That's super weird that you guys can't fly. Maybe you don't have the royal status on.
Clipped our wings.
Oh, I don't think you guys have the royal status for some reason.
Rude.
That's weird. Yeah. Okay, well that's fine. I'm gonna fly through. You guys can try to like run maybe.
Yeah, we'll see who can live.
Hit
Yeah.
Z. Maggie, hit Z.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
Z should
not
work.
right.
There you go. Okay, perfect. Toast must have made you a
Z and X
royal.
is up and down.
So just to kind of like give you guys an idea of the this dungeon and give you guys context for the size literally of like the world around you, right? I mean this is a pretty massive sprawling dungeon, and this is one of the first like level 10 area dungeons that you can go through. The world is intending to be, massive, really big. And because of that, a lot of the corresponding like points of interest and stuff, we want to reflect that size in the environments that you're seeing, the dungeons that you're fighting in. You see here it's pretty standard. Multiple rooms that are kind of present, different hunting areas that players can group in and stuff. And there is going to be that dynamic where rooms are going to be contested because some rooms are better than others, and that's just how the dungeon works, right? I think that.
And I know you've answered this before, but
Yeah.
I'm sure folks who are kind of new are going to ask, when it comes to contested, how does that work exactly?
Well, essentially, like, let's say, you're in your guild and, you're in your party and you roll up on, Like, let's say me and Jeff were in our little party, and we see you and Sarah here with your group, and you have a room that has the best maybe farm rate or whatever.
You ain't winning it. Toast and I gonna
Oh yeah,
keep it on lockdown.
we got this.
Well, what we would do is we'd roll up and we'd politely say, hey, how you doing? How long you guys? Whoops, I accidentally pulled up my NVIDIA thing. We would say, hey, you guys doing? How long are you going to be here for? And if you're just like, it's our room, you'll never have it, then we might have to throw down some fisticuffs and maybe declare like a guild war or flag on you or, something that might contest your ease of gameplay within that room. Yeah, that's pretty much how it would work, I would say. Those are some of my favorite experiences I had like in Lineage and other PVX games where PvE is very important, but that PvE has a, gosh darn it, I keep trying to fly with my mount and pulling up my NVIDIA control screen. Oh well. Here, let me jump down here. But yeah, that's just kind of the dungeon. Give you guys a little.
I meant more so like the contestedness of like when you're tagging mobs. That's what I meant.
Oh, I see. Got it. Yeah.
I get that part though. I've had plenty of games where you find your little place and you like farming for item drops and things of that sort.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
For like tagging mobs and stuff, there is a loot condition that's determined by DPS done. So if it comes down to like two groups that are trying to fight in the same area, it's really going to be an act of like seeing who's going to give the most damage output, I would say. Now, obviously, when you tag a creature,
that tags first, right?
Yeah, they get a little bonus, right? They get a little bit of bonus on that front, and that's for like the looting rights. The experience of a monster will be divided to the groups based off of their percentage of damage done. So if you do 50% of the damage, regardless of the looting rights, which is the tag component, regardless of the looting rights, the damage done will be equitable in percentage split of experience. So if it's 10,000 experience to kill a monster and you do 40% of the damage with your group will get 4,000 experience that's divisible by the group members. So yeah, just give you guys a little heads up. So I hope you guys.
I'm just sitting here looking at the water and admiring how it reflects.
Oh, the lighting? Yeah,
Oh,
look at that. Yeah,
it looks gorgeous in here.
By the razor.
Yeah, I see that in the little ground area.
And the little water spot here.
Let's let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can run up here and get. Let's go back to that little. Oh, here we go. Little lava area. I love the lava stuff.
Yeah. You remember when the lava
heat
was
waves.
gone?
Oh no! I'm gonna run past this dude. I'm gonna sprint.
We had a bug where all the lava turned into like water or something like that. It looks so weird.
Oh yeah, that was definitely crazy. I'm just gonna run through this dungeon, run back, just give you guys the ground view of the size, that's here in these dungeons. What are some of the favorite dungeons you guys have ever played in when you played in your MMOs?
There's too many.
I really like.
I'll go for it. Test.
I like the Karazhan series and WoW, just like Return to Karazhan or Upper Karazhan, just because there's such weird layouts and funky things where you drop through portals and sizes change.
Yeah.
I think my most memorable ones are probably like Ashran's Call and EverQuest, because it's so dangerous to get into the good farming spots, so it takes a while to get in there, and like you have to like buff up and all this stuff, and then once you get in there, like just holding it is intense.
Yeah.
I think to me, I love those dungeon crawls where it's like you don't want to die because getting back there is horrible.
Absolutely. I remember.
Not that it's horrible, but it's just an intense, adventure.
Oh, these guys are jumping around. Look at them. Look at them jumping.
Oh yeah, I wonder what that's. Probably Z-axis issue.
Yeah. My favorite dungeons, probably I would say Antheris' Lair in Lineage 2, the heart area. I had some long grinding sessions in that area. Lineage was a grindy game. And if you had a good group in that heart, you were making the best experience possible. But you would always have groups run in and try to PK you or try to take that spot, and it was just fun PvP too.
Lineage 2 kind of gave me a lot of similar vibes to my old EQ grinds as well.
Oh yeah. Another fun one that I used to enjoy in Lineage was the Four Sepulchers. But if you were like a hero, you could port down into the Four Sepulcher area, so you didn't have to like go through the like hour-long run it took to get there. And I definitely enjoyed. I was a little bit of a griefer because I would go down there and we would always be at war with this one guild, and I would oh, you're gonna die. And I would try to attack their team as one person versus like 7 of them. So I would just like jump in and
Tusk got me. I'm just pulling one.
No.
Oh, you leashed it back.
Steven's a bird.
I'm a furred. Oh yeah, I don't know about. Look at how many bears there are here.
Yeah, but that's why I kited only one out to us.
Oh, there's a lot of bears there. Let me see if we can run in this area.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is another thing that's cool is like the world bosses. Oof, that was bright. The world bosses, having them get, epic boss rooms. I love that too. And like playing with the environmental hazards and stuff that's possible.
Yeah, I like that. That reminds me, I didn't really think DDO had dungeons where it was like this, epic thing where you had to like crawl through it and hold on to it or anything like that, but it did have some really interesting mechanics as far as like traps and stuff like that I think was really cool. And puzzles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jumping puzzles?
I do love jump
Maggie,
puzzles.
do you love jumping puzzles?
I hate, I hate jumping puzzles.
We need round 2.
No.
Yeah.
Where's our dragon
Where's
friend?
the jumping puzzle? Oh, you got to be dismounted. Oh, there he
got
is.
the dragon.
Aha!
It's waiting for us to go through, I think.
But yeah, all right, we're gonna see you back on stream. Hope you guys enjoyed a little look inside the game right now. I know it's been a while since we showed some footage, about a month. But little talk on Gathering. We'll talk a little bit more on stream, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. All right, now everybody, now slap.
All right. So hopefully you all enjoyed the video. We'll have it kind of playing in the background here while we chat a bit. I grabbed a bunch of questions from chat. There's one person in particular, you're spamming. I'm still going to ask your question, but no need to spam. I was snagging all the questions for y'all. The first thing I do want to preface is, for those of you who are new, because I saw some people commenting about flying is not going to be like that. We're not all just going to be able to fly. I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit more about that. Obviously, we've answered this many, many times.
Yeah,
But we got tons of new people.
Yeah, we got a lot of new
this
people.
is true. So just to be clear, flying is very, very, very restricted. It's a very powerful, obviously, achievement, but it's restricted to the leaders of guilds that own one of the 5 castles in the world, as well as the mayors of metropolis stage nodes, which there can only ever be 5 at a time. And then there are rare drops that occur from legendary world bosses that are essentially eggs that players, there's a lifetime on that egg and then a lifetime on the mount.
I know this feels.
Yeah.
And
and
sorry, it's a terrible joke.
and then there's essentially you can raise that up to increase the lifetime per se, but it's limited. So there really will only ever be maybe at a time, between 10 to 15 players that are going to have access to flying mounts, but they will be significant mounts. They'll have abilities that are very strong. All mounts will have certain types of abilities, and the royal mounts will have the most effective abilities, especially when it comes to PvP or AoE type effects.
And you won't be able to run through like we did. We obviously have like GM hacks and stuff like that, but you shouldn't be able to like just run through the entire dungeon and skip everything necessarily.
Yeah, that wasn't a legit dungeon experience. It was more just showing you guys what's going on in the dungeon.
Yeah.
Also, Steven, you just left me there when I like pulled just that one mob for you perfectly. I peeled perfectly.
Oh yeah, I wasn't about the lava bear life.
No, they hit hard.
Like,
It's
a
I'll
tough
put some GM armor on.
You
maybe.
could tell that Steven's used to being the mage because I'm used to being the tank, so I'm used to like pulling like little mobs like that all the time.
Oh yeah.
So I do have a lot of questions. I don't know if you want to go into those first, or if you'd rather just kind of like talk about crafting, because I do want to talk about harvesting and gatherables and crafting a little bit. I know you talked about it as a like contextual, but maybe going into more depth. So I don't know which one you want to do first, questions or
we can do
that.
some questions. Just keep in mind that obviously as we test, some of these systems are going to get iterated on. And then additionally, I know we're going to release a blog later on that goes into some significant detail. So it might be smart to save some of the really detail-oriented questions for the blog when that comes out. But yeah, we can do some questions.
All right, let me grab these questions and then we can talk about other stuff that's not covered here.
Sure.
So Picadolive, Oliver. I don't know. I'm probably going to say all your names wrong, so sorry. Say I don't harvest or gather for a couple of levels. Would I then fall back or fall behind in skill and not be able... Jeff, stop. I can't read because your name keeps covering stuff.
Sorry.
And not be able to gather certain resources in a higher level or area?
Yeah, so the advancement and progression that exists within the artisanship path does not correlate to that of your adventuring class. So you could choose not to touch gathering at all until you max your adventuring class level out, and then you can go back, and that's going to be completely removed from those two things. You can go back and you can start gathering the lower end tier type gatherables and start building up that start building up that branch of the artisanship tree. And as you build it up, you begin to get access to certain professions that you can then start essentially utilizing to get additional experience there, which unlocks more capabilities.
Yeah, also keep in mind that the way that we're designing these zones is it's not a progressive, like, this is a level 10 zone, this is the level 20 zone, this is the level 30 zone. That's not how the game is designed. Every level will represent and have some content for just about any level person. And that goes with resources too, right? Resources are going to be available in places where they make sense, not necessarily based on, we're going to put all the iron in the level 10 zone and all the mithril in the level 20 zone. That's not how it's going to be functioning. It'll be more sort of realistic, regionalized, and a little bit more... it'll be less gamey and more natural, I guess, more organic.
Right. And the idea there is to essentially provide kind of system generated stresses based off of those placements so that regions and localities have to essentially utilize the trade systems and the caravan systems to move goods around so that players have access to their local warehouses for the materials and or gatherables in order to either process them or use them in crafting stations that come online as nodes advance. So there's a significant importance on the location of these goods and how they relate to the location of the crafting centers as well.
Yeah, the economy is super important to us. We want sort of a living economy, which means that there is a sense of supply and demand, right? Some regions will have a lot of a certain type of resource and they won't have other types of resource. And it will be up to players to sort of take advantage of those different supply and demand curves and try to maximize the amount of money they can make from it.
Yeah, we could probably take one more question, Margaret, just because I know we have a lot of art stuff to show as well, and we're already at the hour mark, I think.
My gosh.
Okay, true. I did pull like 20 questions, so that's probably why they can see how many questions. Okay, so I'll just ask this one because it actually pertains to what you're just talking about, which was selling stuff. Spectron7X asked about player sales and auctions. Will there be any way for players to search for items before they travel to a specific node, or will players be restricted to shouting advertisements in node towns? My perspective comes from Star Wars Galaxies and EVE Online. Both games had mechanisms for discovering that an item is sold at a location prior to traveling there, so you don't waste your time, kind of.
Sure. So real quick on that front, there's a lot of components to that question. It touches a lot of different things. But on the auction house front, economic nodes will have access to auction house that are local to those nodes. And as a node progresses and begins to vassal other nodes, if the parent node is economic, it will have the ability to connect with those vassal nodes that are under its zone of influence and it will be able to share the auction house in that regard, especially at the Metropolis stage. Additionally, from a player stall or shop standpoint, if you're in an economic node, there will be certificates that you can purchase from the economic node main building that will provide the license, essentially the business license, to sit down and put up a player owned shop wherever you're at in the world. But you have to have the license that you purchase from the economic nodes. And then additionally, each node has the availability to either build a market, or economic nodes are by default have player owned stalls or rented stalls. Sorry. These stalls, you can put in either services for recipes that you have access to that players can come and interface with and utilize, and you can charge a fee for it, or you can list items for sale within the stall. Now, all of those stalls and the auction house's listings are capable of being observed so that you know where to go to get certain things on a community board, essentially, where you can access the town center's community board, and it will show you the location and items that you can search through, and then you'll have to travel to that location if you don't have access to either an integrated auction house hub or the stalls not present in that location.
Yeah, we actually have an article about economic nodes. A lot of the stuff that Stephen talked about is in there, and it even goes into more detail. So if you want to go check that out, it's on our news page, ashesofcreation.com/news. You can find it through the node series, which is called Economic Nodes. So you should be able to find it pretty easily. I know we still have more in that series that are coming along, but design is still finalizing the military one and the divine one. So we haven't put those out yet because we want to make sure that they're pretty much in a more finalist shape before we actually share that information with you all. So with that, we know we have a lot of questions. I just want to preface that normally we do a Q&A segment on our live stream. Obviously this time we're not, because we did an AMAA for a really long time. If you want to check that out, it's on our YouTube, youtube.com/ashesofcreation. But we will be doing another Q&A for our next one, so stay tuned for that, and we'll let you guys know in advance. We usually announce that a week in advance before our live stream, so you have time to plug in your question, and then Toast, who's amazing, our lovely community manager, she'll put together the ones that have already been answered and answer those for you, and the ones that haven't we'll put into our live stream for that. So stay tuned for that. So without further ado, we're going to move on to environment art. The first thing we have here is the wonderful particle effects. This is another wonderful thing from Jim. We have shown some of the waterfalls in the past, but I'll let Stephen kind of talk a little bit about this. They're so pretty.
Yeah, I think just part of the process that goes into iteration over the art assets that enter the game. We had some old waterfalls that didn't necessarily live up to snuff and how the world was progressing, so Jim took a pass on those, and as you can see, not only do the effects look great, but the updated water shader also is starting to look really good. These will continue to go through iterations as we get closer to launch, but as you can see already in this pre-alpha state, I think this looks great. They look very natural, they look very immersive in the world, and
it's also great because they're way more performant than the old ones were, way more, and they look about as much better, which is great.
Yes, it's always great when you gain on the performance side and on the visual side. You're like, oh wait, that's not supposed to be the case, but yay, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks wonderful. People are saying this is their yoga spot. We got some yogis out there. I like it. And our next one is going to be the Seaside environment assets that Mia made.
I love the
so pretty.
I love when I do the stream, because I never have time to review the assets prior, and so this is all just oh, okay, yes.
You probably see it when you're running around in the world, but you don't realize all the
Yeah, Mia is a wonderful artist. She is so talented and experienced, and I mean, you can just see the detail and the tender love and care that goes into creating these environment assets. Really to make the world look like a beautiful place. I mean, it's immersion such an important component in our gameplay experience, and part of that immersive quality comes down to the sheer talent that goes into our amazing artists creating this world. So yeah, I love these.
Yeah, they're great. And then the next set of assets we have here are the junior node buildings that Ricky made.
Yeah, Ricky Ho, one of our concept artists, as he begins to kind of diversify the selection of architecture for the Dunir race and all the other races working with our talented concept team. They provide these production ready concept pieces in order for the production artists, the 3D modelers on the environment side, to really stick to this architectural design in creating these assets. So part of Alpha 1, part of Alpha 1 and moving forward into the different testing phases, because the nodes adopt the predominant culture that gave the node experience to advance, it renders the appropriate culture to represent the race that helped establish that node. So we start fleshing out additional buildings. These are constructed in a modular fashion so that they can be mixed and matched to some degree to help not only speed up the production time, but also provide, Devin, one of our environment artists, created a great building tool that you may see a dev diary on our YouTube page of where essentially you can go through these modular sets and start just pumping out a lot of different buildings, and the concepts here help to guide those necessities.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through them quick.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, but as you can see, these are mostly what it looks like village stage building variants that exist within the Dunir culture. The Dunir being a more traditional type of a dwarven race that you might expect from medieval fantasy games. It's always interesting that usually dwarves are portrayed inside of a mountain, but here you're going to see literal settlements that are out in the grasslands or out in the tundra or wherever there might be in whatever biome, and that's going to, I think, present a really cool, really cool and unique presentation for a more traditional type mountain dwelling race.
I almost timed it perfectly with your mountain, with your grassland and your tundra. Go for it, Jeff.
Oh, I was just going to say, the dwarves haven't had enough time to excavate the mountains yet when they arrive, so.
Right, exactly. Love it. They haven't cleared out the the dark, corrupt denizens that may exist in the mountain.
Perfect. Now we get to move on to our character art team, who submitted a lot of great stuff, so we're going to switch on over to that. First and foremost, we have some swimming. I know a lot of folks have asked about swimming, so I'll let Steven talk over this.
Yeah, so I mean, as you guys know, there's a lot of water content that's planned. You didn't see there in the transition from the above camera shader to the below camera shader any type of screen effect that will be applied later, like water kind of drying up or something. But as you can see, this is some fundamental swimming. You will be able to utilize your abilities while in the water. There is going to be naval content that will require large groups of people participating in water combat as well as ship-to-ship type combat. So we're now just starting to flesh out essentially the buoyancy and physics of the ocean, as well as giving the character animation blueprint the ability to transition from a land state to a water state that utilizes these animations, which our animation team has taken a first pass on. I think they're doing good. Looks good.
Yeah, and like we said, this is early pass, so bear with us. These aren't fine. This isn't final or anything like that, and we will have some other adjustments to it as well. Yep. But if you have suggestions and stuff like that, you're always welcome to head on over to our forums. We love reading all of that. Toast is amazing and puts together reports every month for the dev team, so that is the best place. If you have feedback or suggestions, the best place to go is honestly our forums, because we put together reports for those. It's easier for us to grab data. If you're PMing people, it's really hard for us to grab the PMs from all of Steven, right? Like, we're not going to make reports on that. That's not happening. So, but if you put it on the forums, we are able to grab, we're able to grab that data and easily send it over to the design. I'm just prefacing, Steven.
Yeah, no, it's good, because over the past 2 weeks since I did those 3 interviews, I think I've had like 9,000 LinkedIn views and probably about 1,000 LinkedIn messages and probably like 3,000 Discord DMs. And
I get like 3,000 a day on Discord. It's nuts.
I would just like to preface that I try my best to read the DMs as much as I can. I definitely read the forums and the content creation that happens in the Reddit. That's a little bit easier to get to for me. Right now, my phone actually crashes if I try to access my DMs on Discord. So I can't do that, but I can do it from the desktop.
But we do put together reports for Steven and the design team and whatnot. So definitely that's the best way is the forums. If you have questions, we have a questions channel in our Discord. That's a fantastic place to go. Beyond that, Toast and I try our best to get through all of the messages, and Violet as well. Like, we try our best to go through all of those things and all of our social media, but the best way to provide feedback is over on the forums.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have a CS problem, the best place is to put in a ticket. So without that, we're going to go on to the next one. You all have really, really loved our lovely goblin friend. And now we have one of the variants completed, so you can see it with textures. Look how awesome he is.
Yeah, this is one of the NPC monsters that represents one of the tribes of the goblin race in the world as a adversary. He is definitely on the green side.
People have been asking for him they're like, goblin playable race. I'm like, not currently planned. I'm never gonna say never, but not currently planned. We already have 9.
Technically, through the monster coin system, there are potentially events that will occur where you may have multiple of these NPCs grouping up to kind of disable services at a node and will require the response of the citizens. And if you have a monster coin available, you could play as a goblin for a short period of time or some other type of monster. And the more you play and become successful during those events and helping to kind of disable the nodes that exist, not destroy them, you will be able to get unique cosmetics as a participation achievement in those monster coin systems. So that's something that's interesting.
Good call, Steven.
Yeah. Like, you're not wrong. Yeah, I was like, actually, I didn't think about the monster coin system.
Yeah, like maybe you can get his loincloth, and then you just wear the loincloth on your character, and it's a goblin loincloth. You know what I mean?
That'd be great. So our next one here is actually robes. Speaking of clothing, we're going to show the Kayla robes here. We'll start with the starter one and then like a level up of that.
All right. I think I saw the grayscale on this
it's
one.
just the grayscale version. So,
okay, got it.
Yeah, that's all this is. We'll show textures probably next month or something.
So this is one of one of the very early kind of. Is this an NPC or is this character armor?
I think this might be NPC. Yeah.
Looks like NPC to me.
So this, I was going to say I don't see the cuts. I was like, that's interesting. This would be, as we construct different armor sets for NPCs to mix and match with, you're going to see more of this, more of these NPC clothing and armor that comes online. This one looks like a character. This one looks like character. I can see the pieces on the arm and the coat and stuff.
Yeah, this is the level up of it. So maybe they're both players.
Yeah, I guess they are.
One.
Yeah, level 1. Okay, so this is progressive. So essentially, we're showing kind of how these character armors are constructed. They gradually increase in silhouette size, not because your armor is going to progress per se in the game, but on a production side in the game, in the development of the game, we use base pieces to help level up these armors and grow the silhouette so that they become appropriate pieces that can be utilized in higher tier armor sets that the players can achieve. And then they get diversified through the materials and the textures and the colors and the thematic components that can be applied as attachments. These essentially get diversified.
All right. And then our next one here is the Spellbreaker's Gauntlet.
Ooh, this one's nice. So this is a cosmetic. Now this is the final model. This is the finished model.
This is not the concept art.
This is not concept. So this gauntlet here was a cosmetic. When was this cosmetic? Was it a long time ago?
I could look, but I'd have to. Oh, actually, I can look right now. I don't have to be on VPN for it.
Well, yeah, long time ago. Basically, your armor exists in I believe it's an 8-piece set that you can individually apply cosmetic appearances towards. So you would have a glove armor piece that you would then apply this what's it called, the gauntlet of
Spellbreaker's Gauntlet.
Spellbreaker's Gauntlet. So you can apply this cosmetic appearance to the gauntlet. Now, this in the game, this portrays a little 3D effects above the gauntlet that will be rotating, and it might actually glow and brighten as you cast an ability or an ability effect occurs. Right? It might call the glow to animate and move. But this is the in-game model of that Spellbreaker's Gauntlet.
My cat has interrupted. The chat's probably leaving.
It's pretty great when we can just see the tail.
It would be the July 2018 to August 2018. Thank you,
Oh, there you go.
Violet
Okay.
Lights,
2
for
years
sending
ago.
that my way. You are
Oh
lovely.
my god. Where's the time gone? I feel like my life is flying by.
I know, it's crazy.
It's just
That's game design.
one large game design. Exactly. I was gonna say, I don't even remember living before starting Intrepid. It's like my headspace has been completely vacated and now only exists in ashes.
So the next ones we have are all of the creature stuff. So this is a lot of the creature animation and creature particle effects. So the first one is going to be actually the troll, and it's specifically you're looking at the particle effects on the attack. So as you're looking at this, don't look at the other things. Look at specifically the particle effects on the attack.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is just some pretty simple effects on the attack animations that you're seeing, which, you know, give it a little bit more oomph as you see different creatures' attacks occur.
Yeah, before we were using kind of generic sort of particle events for impacts and stuff, and this is sort of integrating some of those like to the actual animation of the creatures that are using it. So it's a little bit more couture. It gives kind of it reduces the amount of sort of genericness to the NPCs and gives them character. So
I like that you used the word couture.
Couture.
It's one of those words.
I'm never sure if I'm going to use it right.
No, that was a good word.
Jeff
Way of using
parle
it.
français très bien.
Yes.
C'est un peu.
C'est très bon.
Très bon.
C'est un peu.
C'est un peu. All right. Next we have our War Beast animation. We showed a little bit of the War Beast before and people lost their minds, so enjoy this now. And this is like the War Beast is a Jency creation. She's amazing. Hi, Jency. Someday I'll get you on the stream.
Yay.
I think it's so huge.
It's massive, yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have a scale next to it, but
Yeah.
this dude's pretty big.
Like elephant size was it, right? Was the goal? Or maybe a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit smaller than an elephant, but there's a variant of him that's gargantuan and carries one of the siege weapons.
The first one that Jency made, Steven was like, "That is huge."
Yeah.
Look how pretty he is.
Look, he has a little scene.
Oh yeah.
Aww.
They got very excited about showcasing him. Thank you, Tristan.
Can you just imagine being in the game and you just hear this like thundering movement over like a hill and you just turn?
That thing comes at
and
you.
then this thing
Little bit of
breaks
screen
the horizon and it's just like this dude is charging you and you're just like, huh? What do you do here?
I run, or
That happened to us in a Pathfinder game one time. Kevin was DMing and there was a herd of, I believe it was bison, and we were like level 2, and one of our people had been trampled, so we tried to like help him, and then they trampled us and killed the entire party.
I don't think it was a bison. I think it was something
by bison.
else.
Yeah, TPK by bison.
It was a big creature, though. At least the one that I was part of. We had a similar situation like that. And McP was also the one DMing.
He loves
Not
killing people
surprised.
with herds.
Yeah. The next one is going to be our ram. So you saw this last week. You saw the ram.
I haven't seen
Ram
the fur on
hauler.
this guy. It looks so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
they're
horns are
definitely
really cool.
refining their fur and hair cards.
It's like that scraggly goat hair, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, this looks great. I think this was Carson that did this little dude. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
The not the animations of them, but the
No. Sorry, he did the model.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who did these animations. It might be Myers, I believe.
There it is.
Oh, but there he is with his caravan. Yeah, so this is a Dunir influenced caravan. You can see by the bulkiness and the armor plating on the spokes and the wheels. And this is in game. The different types of caravans that you can own essentially as you commission them will take the appearance of the cosmetic you have applied.
And then our next one is going to be our lovely spider. First, this is the turntable of the spider, so you can see the entire model of it.
So this is an enemy NPC that's going to be, obviously arachnids are a fan favorite when it comes to fantasy games, and this is one of the initial spider creatures that are used. There's several variants. Jinsey modeled these. They're
Thank
going
you,
to
Jinsey,
have...
for making the translucent one. That was like, I was like, please make a translucent one. She's like, I'll try.
Yeah, so these are just some examples of the different spiderlings, and they'll vary in size as well. You have some that are very large up to the head height of a character, and some that are smaller, maybe to the kneecaps. Shanky in the knees, that little spider will do probably. But these look good. I like these.
Yeah, they're awesome. I like their little hair pieces. And obviously we'll have different types of spiders too. Like not just, they won't all be this like hairy spider type. All the people who are afraid of spiders are probably horrified right now.
Hey, it's good to face your fears. MMOs help in that regard.
Makes you stronger.
Yeah.
All those little mandible wiggles.
Well, he's hungry. He hasn't probably eaten in a while.
Oh, that's so creepy. Nope. Yeah. I'm running.
Oh my God, look at its mouth. Oh no, look at its little mouth. It has teeth. Why does it have teeth? Well, I thought it's just supposed to have mandibles. It has teeth.
Oh, imagine
Well,
it
it
spitting
eats,
out
right?
like acid and stuff too.
Oh no, don't go towards them. Oh. There you go. There's a little monsters.
No, this is not, the mobs are not completely done. They're just showing you attack animations.
Yeah.
Mine still has AI stuff to do with it. As I'm sure Jeff is looking at it being like,
Could you imagine if you had a small mesh where you couldn't see the spider and it was like one of those funnel spiders on the beach, and as you're walking past, just like it erupts out of the ground and attacks you? It's like having those randomly placed throughout the world, not so much like in a hunting ground where but like just random spawners of funnel spiders that pop out of the ground and
like
just
you walk over it and you don't even know that there's a spider underneath you because it's like flat on the ground. Oh my gosh.
That would
And the
be
sound
great.
mix on it is totally off. So it's
scary.
The sound mix is
compared-
super loud. Yes, and you just hear the clapping of the mandibles and the teeth. That'd be great. It'd be cool if we could integrate that with like future, computer seats that have like tactile response, and when that event
on their neck.
Yeah, when that event occurs, the seat touches you. You know what I mean?
Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It would definitely be crazy.
Start losing players to heart attacks.
Yeah, we need to add that to our scope creep, by the way. Creation of tactile seats that integrate with calls in game for.
Is that going to go with our VR experience?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no. And I think you made a good point about like feature creep and stuff, because I have seen a lot of comments regarding that, and we're obviously going to wrap up our show today. But we are always going to be conscious of our production line. Our producers are amazing in making sure that we stick to our schedule. Obviously, we're kind of a little bit ahead schedule in some aspects because everyone's working from home and really focused. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff that we want to put into the game. Doesn't mean everything's going to make it at every milestone. Doesn't mean everything's going to make it at launch. So just keep that in mind. But we'll set the expectations with the content that we put out on our news site. We'll always let you guys know what is going to be coming up. Stay tuned for that. We have a lot of articles for Alpha 1 coming out that will talk about each of the classes, because I know classes and combat are one of the major things y'all want to hear about. As Jeff and his design team finalize each of the classes that are going to be in Alpha, I believe there's going to be 6 of them, correct, for Alpha?
There's going to be 5 for Alpha, I believe.
Okay.
5, yes.
Yeah, so we'll be releasing an article about each of those, as well as some video content, so you'll know which abilities are going to be there, what stage it will be in, and also like the next milestone after that, after Alpha 1. So kind of what kind of feedback we're looking for each of those things. And then we'll also have stuff for systems and the races and things of that sort. So stay tuned. We've got a lot of stuff to share with you all. So without further ado, I will wrap up the show, unless you guys have anything else you want to add.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wanted to reiterate, I know that right now, because of the exposure over the last couple of weeks, a lot of new eyes are on the project. And again, I want to thank everybody for, their support in lending to this discussion about what makes MMORPGs great. We cannot thank you guys enough for, coming and joining on the Discord, subscribing to social media on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook.
I
you
want
guys
that 10K Insta so I can have the swipe up. I need the swipe up mechanic.
So with that being said, however, I do want to make sure we temper that hype by letting you know this is a process. Our goal is to create a quality product that has a good launch. And that means making sure that we take our time to ensure the quality of that product, that it makes you guys proud, it makes us proud. So there is still a long road obviously ahead, but the great thing about a transparent development is you get to watch us all along that way. And I know it's difficult to see the game and hear the philosophies and the ideas and just not be overcome with complete grief that you can't play right now. But I've always said that, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. So having that patience and keeping with us along this development period, we all appreciate that at the studios. It is a significant motivator for our developers to just see the sheer love coming from our community. So we appreciate that so much, and we love you guys from the studios 100%.
Thank you so much. And to the people who are like our OG folks who have been super helpful, I also want to give a shout out to you. You have been answering a lot of questions, being really kind to the new folks, welcoming them in, and we greatly appreciate that. Like, words cannot describe absolutely. How, because it's been a lot of people that even Toast and I and Violet are not able to necessarily, answer. So thank you so much.
Yeah, MMOs live and die by their community, and we've got one of the best ones in the industry. So.
Absolutely. Yep.
So with that, we'll wrap things up. Reminders, I'll just go through them really quick. We do have new emotes on the Discord. Definitely go check them out. They're so adorable. We are trying to get them on Twitch, so stay tuned for that. We'll do our best to link up with them and get that going. We do have a bonus dev discussion this month, which is multi-boxing. So definitely go answer that. That's going to be wrapping up July 6th because Toast has to put together a report for the dev team so that they can go talk and discuss it. It's going to be heated, I'm sure. And then we also have another one coming up for August. We won't skimp you on any dev discussions, as Jeff and his team have a lot of questions that they would like to hear the community's perspective on. Beyond that, our monthly cosmetic swap over will be at 11 a.m. August 5th, 2020, so stay tuned for that. We will be showcasing the new set soon, so stay tuned for that. And the last but not least, we have our test coming up. If you are Leader of Men or Phoenix Initiative, definitely check your email. We'll be sending out another update today for folks who did not sign yet, or if you're still in the ticket system, it might catch you as well. We definitely need people to sign it, so definitely check your inbox. It might be in your spam or junk, but definitely go check that and reply so that we can get you all flagged up and get you ready for testing, because we want to start doing our next test here in August, and we need that done first. With that, we lastly, don't forget that our statue, all you have to do is register on our site. You don't have to do anything else, no payment or anything, just register an account. Anybody from April 7th, 2020 to September 7th, 2020 will get access to that. I think I can put that up on the screen again.
Including all previous registrations.
And including all previous registrations. Yeah. That's true. I guess I didn't need a start date for it. I don't know why I was thinking that. I'm just so used to having a start and end date for things. My mind. And that's it. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Steven, for taking time out of your day. I know you both are very extremely busy, so we really super duper appreciate it. Thank you to all of you who tuned in. We appreciate it. Thank you to the entire Intrepid Studios. Everyone has done an amazing job of, kind of showcasing content every month. And we'll be with you all another update next month. So stay tuned for that. We'll let you know in advance whenever that's coming up. So without that, we will put this video up on YouTube. Check it out, youtube.com/AshersOfCreation. You can go ahead and subscribe now. It'll probably be up later today, depending on YouTube. Otherwise, it'll be tomorrow morning. And we will also post on all of our socials. So follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Please, Instagram. I want that swipe up mechanic. Bye!
Bye, everybody!
Bye, guys!